Okay, group two, I apologize for that. I had to use the restroom. So, um, continuing on to the close to the end of your reading, um, we have preservation. Reevaluate this battle you are engaged in. A hasty retreat may be in order. Self preservation may be the only thing salvageable. Okay, so with this, you guys have, I feel like preservation has been the way you've survived in regards to the ones, the parts of you Pal 2 that did not speak up in the previous lifetime. You guys were trying to preserve yourselves, trying to preserve, your life and your livelihood, and to protect your preserve and protect your families and what you had already, so that way you wouldn't lose it for speaking against the tyranny that was being done in that particular lifetime, or even in this lifetime that you're experiencing in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion. So basically, this is a word where it's not exactly a power word, but it's kind of like it counteracts whatever you're trying to have as be your source of power. Preservation, yes, it recharges you, but at the same time, you have to be mindful in what way you're preserving yourself, and if it's really worth preserving, what you're trying to protect is really worth preserving versus being spiritually, honoring your contract of being in a spiritual connection and honoring that spiritual connection. Is preservation really worth it? That's something you have to ask yourself. Curiosity is a power word. And any divine spiritual connection, um, here I'll read it. It says, there is so much knowledge surrounding this decision you need to make. However, there are more options you have not yet considered. Slow down and the right opportunity will present itself. So basically, you are in a place where, group two, where curiosity is actually your friend. It's not something that's going to kill the cat, or i.e., you, the cat. Um, Basically, not speeding up and going through life going fast. It kind of goes back to that go with the flow. Go with the flow. Be curious. You know, look at what those scenarios are trying to teach you that I just previously talked about in the last video. You know, basically look at where your life is um, going. Don't pause or be like, oh, that's happening to me, that's horrible, I have to fix this immediately. No, get curious and see why this same situation keeps popping up in this lifetime. Look inside yourself, be curious. You have a lot of knowledge that is stored within you. People in group two, power two, you know, just listen. Open your ears, listen. Yeah, that's what I got with curiosity. Amazement says you have worked hard to get everything just the way it is right now. Trust and enjoy this moment. Everything is as it should be. Trust the divine plan. Know that everything that is happening in this lifetime is to bring you a stronger sense of purpose spiritually. It's allowing you to connect with your divine source more. It's allowing you to become aware of the spiritual power you have within you and what you're here to do, what your contract is here. Everything we go through is a clue as to what we're supposed to be either exposing in this life or creating in this life. So just continue to connect with your divine source. You will be left in amazement. You will amaze other people with how spiritually connected you are to your divine source. And they're gonna want to have a piece of that. They're gonna want to learn, like, wow, how did they become such an awesome spiritual leader like that? How did they become so confident in their deity like that? You will begin to awaken other people by your spiritual awakening. but it starts with you. Last one you have is resilience. It says someone is protecting you from the truth because they are worried about your response. It's not their decision to make. You're tougher than they think. So this goes back to uh, Miss Queen of Wands here, that wants to control you, that doesn't want you to see the truth, that doesn't want you to understand or make the decision to walk away. They want you to stay and be in a controlled mindset. They want you to stay in that indecisive and like, well, I kind of don't want to be here anymore, but I'm gonna stay because it makes them happy, type thing. And for some of you, this could be parents. Some of you, this could be friends that are trying to pressure you to stay within a certain belief system or a certain mindset or a certain spiritual, way of dealing with life. But it's not their decision to make, because ultimately it's your life path and your life journey, and you have to respect it. And it's okay if you fall and you get a little bit upset, but don't stay there. Be resilient and get back up again. That's what resilience is having the ability of, when people knock you down or situations knock you down, you have the ability to get back up. And that's what your spiritual connection is going to help you do in this lifetime too. It's not going to make you allow you to bow down and allow people to put their boots on your face and make you surrender or make you do anything, because no one in this lifetime, in all honesty, cannot make you serve a deity, cannot make you believe in a deity, cannot make you have the same mindset as them, same spiritual outlook as them. This is your journey, this is your life path, this is your spiritual awakening, this is your thing. And make it your thing. Be resilient. Every time you get up, you get back up stronger. That is your strength. And that's it as far as the card portion for you, group 2. Now we're gonna go into the angel numbers and spirit animals you see whenever the divine is speaking to you in regards to your contract, reminding you of what you're here for. So group 2, you have number 293. Angel number 293 is what you have. 293. The Ascended Masters are urging you to focus on your mission in life, which consists of your spiritual passions and interest. 293. So basically, to sum it up, you are already, some of you are already aware of what you're here to do spiritually, of what your life path is here spiritually, and some of you are still trying to figure out what that is. And the Ascended Masters, they consist of like all the spiritual leaders that basically were martyrs in their living, or they did some type of act of service to the point to where whatever god they were serving in that particular time frame, they basically became godlike because of their sacrifice that they made. So the Ascended Masters, you have Kuan Yin, you have Buddha, you have Yogananda, you have Jesus, you have it's another one, Saint Germain, Mary Magdalene. Um, you also have um, Melchizedek. So these are some of the Ascended Masters that I am familiar with. I haven't worked with all of them personally, but I've worked with Jesus and I've worked with Kuan Yin. And basically you need to, figure out which one is kind of like helping you and kind of guiding you along um, in life. Now, I've heard different things. I've heard good and negative things about the Ascended Masters. Some of them have been ridiculous. It's like, oh, the Ascended Masters are demons. Once again, that is your journey. If you choose to deal with an Ascended Master or two or all of them, that is on you. You do not have to connect with all of them. You don't have to connect with any of them if you don't want to. Just basically, you can take where it says the Ascended Masters, you can put the name of your deity in the middle of that. For me, I say God is urging you to focus on your mission in life, which consists of your spiritual passions and interests. It's easy as that. You don't have to deal with the Ascended Masters, but you can if you desire to. Um, Take that as it resonates. So you have group two. As far as animals, you have shark, you have lion, and turkey. Shark, you're especially sensitive right now, so be careful with what environments and situations you expose yourself to. So, for you empaths in this group, allow yourself to swim through your emotions fluidly so as not to get stuck in any one feeling, going with the flow. You're very well protected and can ward off any threats, negativity, or psychic attacks. Notice how your mood shifts depending on what you've eaten, and if necessary, modify your eating habits to maintain your physical and emotional equilibrium. Maintain your dignity and self respect no matter who or what you encounter. Dealing with Miss Queen of Wands or Mr. Queen of Wands. You know, whoever's trying to control you, be like, no, you can't change. You can't go in this direction because I won't allow it. I don't feel okay with that. Maintain your dignity and self-respect no matter who or what you encounter. And then another meaning is you'll notice a heightened ability for discernment and discrimination, so sorting out what's right and what's not for yourself. And then the last one is let your inner feelings, not your external influences, dictate your eating habits. So going within, your spiritual connection contract is all about going within, discovering who you are and what things you are meant to express in this world in a spiritual sense. So group two, I hope that helps you. We're gonna go on to pile three now at 13 minutes and 1 second. Okay, group three, my beautiful group three. All right, bye bye. Okay, so pile three, your spiritual contract that you signed before you came here into this beautiful world is heart healing. Now, immediately when I think of heart healing, I tend to think of, one who has been through the ringer in love relationships. And being that the stone, uh-oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, group three. They're bringing to my attention I didn't say give the different meanings of amethyst in group two's video. So actually your video is going to start in a second. I'm sorry about that. So sorry. I'm human, okay? Not a robot. So very quickly, group two, amethyst. The affirmation for you guys is I am a spiritual badass for the divine. The emotional aspect of help that amethyst provides is it relieves stress, it rids negative emotions of anxiety, fear, grief, depression, and anger. It also creates an energetic shield. So, once again, for you empaths in group two, um, on a mental level, it calms thoughts, it gives you mental clarity, and it's a great meditation tool as well as helping with nightmares and insomnia and helps create new ideas. On a spiritual standpoint, for amethyst, amethyst works with you by stimulating your crown chakra. It gives you spiritual protection, it allows for spiritual growth to take place, and it gives you inner strength. So take that as it resonates. And sorry about that group three, sorry about that group two. I'm a human and I'm not editing this video, so take that as it resonates. All right, so back to heart healing group three. I'm so sorry about that. You guys, some of you guys have encountered relationships in this lifetime and in previous lifetimes and have taken on ancestral DNA where there have been emotional and mentally abusive relationships. You've had relationships where you've had to deal with narcissists, where you've had to deal with certain um, certain emotional traumas that other people have never experienced or they've only experienced on a minuscule uh, scale versus you experiencing it over and over and over again throughout this lifetime. Okay, and some of that is to break break down that wall, that emotional wall that you've had up in this lifetime, and kind of forcing you to go within to learn to cultivate self-love. And some of the relationships are a result of you not even loving yourself. So you are here to heal your heart. You are here to play out ancestral healing. You're here to cultivate a better sense of self emotionally for the next generation that is to come after you. So the lessons and goals you are going to be fulfilling that will be expressed in this lifetime in regards to heart healing for you are bust out of your cocoon, getting out of that emotional, getting away from that emotional wall, breaking it down, not allowing it to take over, not giving it space within yourself. Um, being patient. Some of these difficult relationships you've encountered are because you were not patient enough after you went through one negative relationship before jumping into another relationship. Um, sometimes we have our healing takes time. It's not something that's just like, oh well, that was a bad relationship, let me jump into another one that might help me heal. No, sometimes the healing never comes from another person. Okay, understand that the heart healing always comes from within, and it comes within yourself. It's not something that you can just be like, oh well, I don't want to focus on myself. I only feel good whenever I'm in a relationship with somebody else. I only feel love whenever I'm in a relationship with somebody else. The most important relationship you will ever have, group three, for the one that for the ones that resonate with this card, with being patient and not jumping to another relationship, the most deepest love you will have is with yourself. Is with yourself. You are the most important relationship you will have is with yourself. It is important to know who you are personally on an emotional, mental, and spiritual level, and knowing how you need to be loved. Because if you don't know how to love yourself, what makes you think another person is going to know how to love you? They're not in the way that you need to be anyway, because they are dealing with their own emotional healing as well. So, don't shoot the messenger, don't be mad at me, for saying that, but that's what I'm getting with that card for some of you. Make necessary sacrifices. Some of you have this bad habit of wanting to be the martyr in a relationship, taking the blame for everything. Some of this is referring to some of you that have been in narcissistic relationships, okay? Always making sacrifices for other people. But if you look, it says make necessary sacrifices. Basically saying you do not have to sacrifice who you are. You do not have to sacrifice your happiness or your well-being to feed that narcissist ego and their personal pain that they refuse to address. They refuse to acknowledge that they believe and have lied to themselves and told themselves that isn't there. You do not have to deal with somebody like that. As a matter of fact, you can make a necessary sacrifice and sacrifice that damn relationship with that person because they do not deserve your kindness, your love, and the personal power that comes from your heart. They don't deserve that. So bust out of your cocoon. You are not trapped. You are a beautiful butterfly going through pupation. You are sludging off the negative things that you've received from people in previous relationships with them. You are you think that this is the end of your world because you're having to give up this relationship or you're having to walk away from something that doesn't serve you anymore emotionally, you know. And it's time for you guys to embrace your power in its fullness. Sometimes it means cutting relationships, toxic relationships out of your life. Not even just narcissistic relationships. For some of you, the only way you will even begin to embrace your power is by cutting off those relationships. Becoming aware that you do not need another person to fill that void. You can let your divine source fill you with their love and their energy. Trying to see what. Oh, okay, great. Wow. So another aspect that is coming up is reassessing. So some of you need to reassess some of your relationships with people. Some of you need to pull up previous relationships you've had and look at where you gave your power away, okay? Where you gave away so much love, so much of yourself in a relationship, for a relationship, to the point to where you've basically forgotten who you are on an emotional level and what you need on an emotional level. And it's time for you to reassess those patterns and heal those patterns. So that is what I got as far as what goals or aspects will be expressed in this lifetime. Let's go into how to achieve expression of your goals or aspects of your contract of heart healing, okay? First thing I have here is integrity. Dealing with yourself in a way that is not going to basically destroy you, you know, in its entirety, as far as the actions that you the actions that you bring about in this lifetime, basically. Because integrity says align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's right for you. And this angel is surrounded by pink roses. The stone in this card is rose quartz. Integrity. Integrity takes on so many different forms and affects our lives in so many more ways than just love. But because you guys are more heart chakra centered, and I say that because when I shuffled and things fell out, heart chakra was one of the cards that came out. So you guys are very heart chakra centered. Um, so your inner knowingness, a lot of it comes from your heart chakra, but also it comes from your sacral chakra too. So that's where your power lies. It lies, within this area, and it goes back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. And you know, your integrity kind of comes from those spaces. You have to know, honor what you feel. You know, honor what you feel and know is a good relationship for you. Honor and respect who deserves to be around you, who deserves to be able to bask in the beauty that is you, to bask in the energy that is you. You have heart chakra. The answer that you seek is in your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love. So, like I said earlier, just a few seconds ago, with integrity, your inner knowingness comes from your heart chakra. You guys are very heart chakra centered people that are like, oh, like you guys make decisions from the heart, not so much as from the mind. Not saying that that is a bad thing, but you guys, that's just how you guys operate. You guys do not look without eyes of love. Okay. Sacral chakra. You are highly sensitive to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and energies right now. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situations, and relationships. You guys are a very sensitive crew. I'm sensitive. I'm very sensitive. I'm not gonna lie. But group three coincides with emotional sensitivity. Emotional sensitivity. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to us all. So basically, not allowing people to make you feel stupid or make you feel inferior because you are a sensitive being. Sensitivity is very hard to come by in this day and age because we're all focused on being, third eye centered or crown, chakra centered, or, being root chakra centered, being grounded, or trying to speak the truth. Well, some of you are speaking your truth through the way you act in love. And being emotionally sensitive, there's nothing wrong with that. So don't let anybody criticize you or judge you, like, oh, you're too sensitive. You're too offended by that. No, it just means that you know that something in that situation is not right, and you are expressing that by being sensitive, like, hey, like, don't say that around me. Don't show me that. Don't do that to me. So don't allow anyone to make you feel bad for being sensitive. And with sacral chakra, if some of you have digestive issues, it's stemming from not healing certain things within your sacral chakra. The womb, in regards to the women, the womb. Um, or if you perceive that you have a womb in any way, shape, form, or fashion, that's that ancestral energy. Dealing with the feminine energy of your ancestors that passed on, that did not get healed, that had those abusive relationships or had to deal with emotional hardships, okay? Power animal. I think you guys are. So this card is basically saying pay attention to the animals that I give you, okay? Because some of these are common, some of these are not common animals. Sometimes you may see them in a video. You may see them in wildlife, depending on what part of the world you live in, okay? And some of them are pictures that you'll see, that you'll come across, that somebody will show you, or that you'll see on Facebook or whatever social media that you follow or whatever. Power animal. It says your animal spirit guide is a guardian to you and is helping you with this situation. So you guys are very protected because you guys are an emotional and very sensitive bunch. You guys tend to, unfortunately, attract narcissists. Well, this time around in this lifetime, it's like Spirit is basically cutting those connections. You know, there it's like your power animal is coming in like, nope, you're not getting into her sphere of existence anymore. You're not getting into his, energy anymore. You're not doing that. I will sting you, I will bite you, I will blow you away. Whatever I gotta do to keep you away from my person, I will do that. Is essentially what your power animal is doing, okay? Um, and I'm gonna do something a little bit different than I did before with the other groups, as you saw group 3 and with group 2. Um, you guys, your animals are dragonfly, kiwi, and python, and it is coming from the book Pocket Guide to Spirit Animals by Dr. Stephen Farmer. And I'm going to read from Dragonfly first. There are different meanings in these. They may resonate with you, they may not at this current moment, but rest assured, there is truth in the meaning. Dragonfly. Be on the lookout for any falsehoods, deceit, or illusions that are clouding a current situation or relationship. Being aware of narcissists, being aware of those who only come to steal from you. Emotional, okay, group 3. It says, the second one says, you're being entirely too rational about everything and really need to tap into your deeper emotions, whatever they may be. So some of you may not be tapping into your emotions enough. Some of you have created this emotional wall because of your traumatic emotional experiences you've had with relationships, okay? And when I say relationships, I don't mean just romantic. I mean familial and friendship-wise as well, okay? Um, But yeah, some of you need to delve deeper into your relationship. So some of you that are like, oh, you're too sensitive, that are in this group that picked this one, you're actually sensitive too. But the reason why you're so irritated by seeing that sensitivity in other people is because that's an aspect of yourself that's wanting to be expressed, and you don't like it. You don't want to let it open. You don't want to be vulnerable to that. So check yourself with that, basically. Your passion is awakening, so direct it to what feels true and right to you. Your heart centered. Let your heart guide you to what it is that you desire and what you truly want in life, not what your ego is telling you that you want or that you need. Okay. The next one says, this is also a time when the magic and mystery of your life is reawakening. It is vital to recharge your psychic energy, which you can do by regularly meditating. So some of you need to meditate if you've never meditated before. There are different meditations on YouTube. Matter of fact, the music that's playing behind me right now, there's a really good channel that I like to listen to. It's called Meditative Mind. And this one is 639 hertz. It is the frequency of emotion of heart healing and bringing positivity to the heart chakra. So um, you can look into that if you desire to. Um, it says, more than simply a change, you're going through a major transformation. So enjoy the process. The last meaning says, additionally, you should be working with the fairies and other elementals. So group 3, you may want to hit up group 1 because I said more stuff about like fairies and elementals and that pile. So that's going to be in the part 1 video to this entire video, okay? Um, so I hope for some of you that resonate with Dragonfly, you guys pay attention because you may see a dragonfly at some point in time, for spirit to remind you of what you're here to do, and kind of telling you that you're progressing on your journey. um, okay, so let's go to kiwi. When they told me kiwi, I thought it was so random. I was like, what? Like, why are you telling me this weird looking furry bird? Okay, this furry looking bird, it doesn't look like it has feathers. It looks like a mammal almost with a bill. Um, but that's its unique beauty, I guess. Kiwi. So for those of you that don't know what it looks like, that's how it looks. Kiwi. Spend some time in the forest or woods enjoying the sights, smells, and feel of this environment. You're faced with an opportunity to surrender something of yourself for the greater good of your family or community. So, some of you are selfish, some of you are emotionally selfish, some of you are either, or you may be perceived by some around you as being selfish. So, take whichever resonates, okay? Um, it says you have the choice of dramatically changing your lifestyle. So make that choice from love rather than from fear. Once again, being in your heart energy, not being in your mind, not being in your solar plexus, not being concerned with how people are going to perceive you because you're changing your life for the better, or you're letting go of a marriage, a 20-year marriage that was filled with nothing but narcissistic insults and pettiness. Okay, it's okay to let go of things that are toxic to you, that don't serve you. Don't let your family members or your friends define um, how you should live your life or what lifestyle you should be living, because theirs is working for them, and their way of doing things is working for them. It may not work in the same way for you, and it's okay. Everybody's path is different, and you have to embrace that. Okay, goes back to embrace your power. It says, do a walking meditation outside for 15 minutes each day for the next few days. One where you walk more slowly and consciously than usual, synchronizing your breath with your pace. So that would look something like this is you walking. Okay, bear with me here. It's like you're going. So something like that basically is what it would look like. You know, just kind of basically meditating and being mindful in that way. Um, So there was a card in here earlier that said you needed to meditate. Where is it going? Where is that at? Could have sworn I seen something with meditation in here. The heart chakra. It was basically referring to meditation. The answer that you seek is within your heart right now. Be open to giving and receiving love. So that goes back to the some of you are selfish, some of you give a little bit too much to the point, you know, some of you give a little bit too much to the point to where you feel like you have nothing left to give yourself. And some of you are afraid of being vulnerable and receiving the love. Okay, so um sorry. So the last one we're gonna do is um mm, 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 Python. Another snake. Python, you'll soon embark on an educational process where you'll be required to assimilate a lot of knowledge very quickly. There's an area in your life where you're feeling suffocated and it's up to you to break out of it. Basically goes back to the reassessing card and goes back to embracing your power, and it goes back to make necessary sacrifices. You're going through a major transformative process, one that will result in the next evolution of who you are. You're about to shed something that has outgrown its usefulness and purpose. With the opportunity that has presented itself to you, strike while the iron is hot is an appropriate aphorism. So some of you are at a prime time to get out of a situation that doesn't serve you. You're like, this is just the right moment for you to escape it before it gets any worse. Okay. If someone, and for some reason, I feel like that there's a percentage of you that is dealing with a domestic abuse situation where you are not only being emotionally and mentally abused, you're having hands put on you too. So leave. There is never a perfect or right time more than the time that you're thinking of leaving to leave. It is not worth losing your life. You're not missing out on the love of your life. Or I don't care if you guys have children together. If they know that you are the mother of their child or the father of their child, because let's be honest here, let's be real here. Physical abuse happens on both ends of the spectrum in a relationship. Um, it doesn't matter if you're the father of the child or the mother of their child. It is not worth losing your life um, for the sake of your children. If at all possible, take your child with you, away from the abusive parent, the abusive spouse, because they'll try and use that child, as a leverage to get you to come back, and you don't want that to happen. You also do not want your child to get hurt as a result of you leaving as well. So take your child with you, take your baby and leave. Your child deserves a healthy home, not a unhealthy home where there are two parents that are fist fighting each other in front of that baby. Okay, that child does not deserve to see that or feel that or experience that. So take that as it resonates. That's not for everybody, but for the ones that message is particularly for, please adhere to it. Leave before you lose your life. Leave. Um, Mediumship. You have the natural ability to connect with departed loved ones. So there are some of you that have heart healing to do in regards to losing a physical loved one. Some of you have heart healing to do with a deceased loved one who you're holding a grudge against. You're That loved one wants to bestow peace and blessings upon you, and it's like you're still holding a grudge against them. Okay, so release that. They also want to give you love and let you know that they are okay, and that it is okay and safe for you to love again. So this is speaking more so. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry. This is speaking more so to um, romantic partners who have passed away. Okay, um, there's a percentage of you that have had a spouse that passed away that loved you in your fullness and loved you for who you were and helped you become the person that you are today. And they want you to know that it is okay to love someone else because they want to see you happy. They desire for you to, experience that type of feeling again. They don't want you to stay stuck on the memories that they had. They love it that you remember them. They love it that you know, miss them, but they don't want you to miss them to the point to where you stay in constant mourning every single day, because that hurts them. They don't like that you are not moving on with your life and you're not honor to them. They want you to honor them by loving another person, by celebrating life with another person, celebrating the things that they instilled and implanted it within you in your time of being in a relationship with them or being in a commitment with them. And they want you to explore that same happiness and joy with someone else. So please honor that wish. Honor that aspect of that relationship between you and that loved one that passed away, that you were married to, in a relationship with, whatever that may be for you. They want you to be happy. They don't want you to have an emotional wall up because you feel like they would be angry with you. This is your green light to basically go out and date and find another person that you feel is like close to their attributes, that has the same attributes as them. They may look different from them, but their same attributes, the same love could be expressed, and you're missing out on that because you're focusing on someone who is no longer physically in this earth with you. So they want you to be happy. They want you to move on. They want you to explore life again with someone else, okay? Um, Law of attraction. Law of attraction. Relationships and activities that you once enjoyed are now changing as you become more sensitive and aware of energies. This is just basically clarifying and going back to make necessary sacrifices, okay? The love you're trying to bring into your life cannot come for some of you because you are focused on the pain from a previous relationship. You're focused on not learning the lesson, not seeing the lesson in the previous relationship. Some of you are in a victimhood mentality. As for some reason, I see this angel, like she's like, man, that hurt. Like some of you are still in the mindset, like, oh, that hurt. You did this or said this to me that hurt. And the reality is, you have to look past that. You have to look past the initial pain and look at the lesson that you learned within that. For some of you, the lesson was learning to love yourself, not giving so much of yourself to people. So for some of you, the lesson was to not be so cold-hearted and closed off to love, because some of you have lost great connections as a result of you not being vulnerable enough, not opening up to them, not trusting them that they're going to, be good to you. Some of you sabotage your own good relationships. So in this, take this law of attraction as it resonates and do with it, what you will, and apply it to your life. Begin to take negative thoughts and change them around, and begin to take those negative experiences and find some silver lining, some type of beautiful lesson out of that. Instead of staying in a victimhood mentality or staying in a mindset of, oh, screw love, forget it. It's not for me, because everybody has someone out there waiting for them. There's a person for every single person on this world. There's no such thing as not having anyone. If you choose to be single for the rest of your life, kudos to you. But for some of you, that is not what you're here for. And heart healing, for some of you, that is not what you're here for, is to be closed off forever and not enjoy enjoy the fruits of being in a relationship with someone. Okay. um the last card of how to achieve expression of those aspects or goals of your contract is Earth Angel. Earth Angel says you are a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love. So some of you have learned your lessons in love. Some of you have gone through enough trauma. Some of you have gone through enough, to the point to where you can be a life coach, as far as love goes, love and relationships goes. And you're here to help other people navigate this thing we call love. It would help people navigate, how to be in relationships. For those that have never experienced a relationship, a healthy one, or some that are experiencing a negative one, and you're helping them get out, how helping them to figure out how to get out of those relationships. So simply put, Earth Angel is basically you're taking your life experiences, the things you've learned, via your ancestral experiences, which you've downloaded from your ancestral experiences, and you're putting them to work and helping other people be freed in that way. Okay, so scenarios that are going to come about. Some of you have experienced sadness and isolation as a scenario to bring to the forefront what needs to be healed emotionally. Some of you experience relationships that basically put you in a spiritual fetal position to a certain extent. And it's like you just basically keep putting your hand to the blade and it's time to stop. Some of you are here to experience your divine union. This is also the Lovers card, is also the twin flame union, soulmate union card. Some of you are here to experience that level of love. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, um, A twin flame union is a divinely protected and guided union as a soulmate um, counterpart. This is something where you go through certain lessons um, to gain a better sense of love for yourself, okay? Your twin flame is your mirror of who you are as a person. They may look different, they may talk different, they may, you know, act differently, but they literally are the attributes that you do not have within yourself that are being expressed. Okay? They're mirroring your good and your bad. So if you think that twin flames are just all sunshine and daisies and roses, it is not a um, frolicking through the daisies type relationship. It is a strongly emotional and then mentally and spiritually intense relationship that calls you to change for the better, to transmute whatever does not serve you anymore in your soul family, in your ancestral line. It's meant to break those unhealthy patterns, okay? Some of you have abundance blocks because of your relationship ties. Some of you are here to heal those and up level to your next financial level, beginning to get that financial prosperity. Prime example of an abundance block, caused by emotions. Some of you have childhood things with your mothers or your fathers. I experienced both sides of that. So for me, a lot of my financial and prosperity and abundance blocks came from my childhood, watching how my parents interacted with each other, um, how they interacted with me on an emotional level. So some of you are here to heal your heart so that way you can have prosperity either in this lifetime or in the next one, and also for your future generations that will come after you. Some of you are here to experience the ultimate emotional happiness as far as love goes. If you have not experienced that um, yet, this is basically saying it's coming. But you have to do your heart healing. You have to do your work with your heart chakra. Okay. Some of you are some of the scenarios you're going to be dealing with people. Some of your heart healing is going to come from scenarios where you'll have plenty of choices, but you're going to have to make a choice to choose the one that is right. And it looks like in this card that this person is making a decision amidst all of these other decisions. So some of you are basically here to correct something that was supposed to be done the first time um, in a previous lifetime, and it didn't get done, and now you're being faced with it again, and so you're either going to choose it or you're going to continue this cycle. So Tower. Some of you invulnerable people, sometimes a hard head makes a soft behind. That's what some of you are going through with the Tower. Some of you are just now realizing what patterns through certain scenarios that are going to occur, certain Tower moments, okay? Some of you are going to realize that through your emotional situations, your negative emotional situations, that you are actually stronger, and you're going to be creating stronger foundations with each thing that you go through. Um, Not saying that this is going to be you all of your life, but this is basically like some of the scenarios you have already experienced and some of the scenarios that you will experience if you've never experienced anything like this, okay? Deconstructing false beliefs and false identities within yourself in regards to how you view love and relationships. We have Four of Swords. Some of you are going to be faced with scenarios where you're going to take an actual break, being patient. You know, you will learn to be patient and heal and give yourself that mental space and that mental healing that you need to coincide with your heart healing, you know. Um, Basically, following the sacral chakra card, not putting yourself in harsh environments and harsh situations that, you know, just don't serve your sensitive side, that don't doesn't serve your healing that you need to do. You know, if you don't rest, if you don't rest at the rate you're going now, you're gonna end up with bandages everywhere. You're gonna end up really just doing a number on your mind. So be at peace and relax. It's gonna be some of the scenarios you're gonna experience. So they're gonna be periods of time where you're going to be single. You know, for some of you, you may be single for 2 or 3 years. I've been single for 7 years. It's nothing to be ashamed of or nothing to be, you know, upset about. For me, my 7 years of being single has helped me discover more of who I am as a person. It has allowed me to heal a lot of my childhood wounds. It's allowed me to look at the relationships I had before I, you know, went on the 7 year single journey. Um, it's just one of those things. Sometimes we have to go through periods of time where we heal and we really take the time to get to know ourselves and stop jumping into each relationship, you know, hoping for the best and thinking that that's going to heal us and help us forget or forgive the person that was hurting us from before, okay? You have the moon. Some of you are going to be uncovering things. Some of you, your intuition is going to pick up more. And it's not going to be a typical intuition. It's going to be from the heart. It's going to be from your emotions. It's going to be very intuitive because you see the Pisces right here. You see the two fish. It's You're going to go through a cycle. Some of you are going to have scenarios where you're going to go through cycles where in your singleness you're going to go through like, oh, that was, I learned a lot in that. And there are going to be somewhere you're going to have to submerge yourself into the water, to the water of knowledge, to the water of spirit, and really just dig deep and figure out what it is that why you're still attracting some of these psychos, you know, attracting some of these unstable people. So there's the moon. um, some of you are going to have to get out of these self-sabotaging mindsets. Some of you have created blocks of your own by thinking that you are not worthy or deserving of love, or you fear love itself because of what you've seen in your childhood. So some of you will be faced with scenarios where you're going to have to take the blindfold off, where you're going to have to look at the situation for what it is. You're going to have to take the band-aid off. You're going to have to go back into those childhood wounds, okay? And experience that. Moon, resting, like this all goes back. This all connects together. Six of Cups. Some of you have exes that will be returning, who will have gone through the tower moment, going through their own healing and being single and everything. And they're going to come back with a renewed sense of mind and their emotions. They're going to give you what you're looking for. But also, with that, the Six of Cups also reminds you, being that it's upright, it's a positive remembrance of the past, being nostalgic, remembering the good old days in a relationship. Some of you, your heart healing cannot come if you're constantly looking at all of the good that happened in a relationship and you're not analyzing the negative aspects of what happened and not seeing, you know, not seeing the lesson in it. If you're constantly just reminiscing on the good times you had with your narcissistic partner or your emotionally or mentally abusive partner, guess what? You're going to attract somebody else that is just like that. So when you're reviewing the past relationships, make sure you're looking at it from both lenses, not just from a good, not just from a bad. Look at it from both ends. The last one is Six of Swords. Some of you are going to be coming out of chaotic relationships, coming out of turbulent waters, but the water of spirit, the water of God, the water of the divine is going to basically pull you out of that and just bring you into this more peaceful, calm buoyancy, being able to flow along in the water, not being. And also, it's also saying, being the swords in the boat, basically, knowing that taking the lessons you've learned in the relationships, but not holding them so close to your heart and your mind to the point to where you block anything good from coming out, okay? But also, I feel that there is um, a lot to be said in regards to the in regards to you basically getting into safe travels, getting into safer waters, okay? So know that everything that you've gone through does not have to define you as a person. It's a part of you, but it's a part of your past, and it's okay to go into new waters and to rediscover more of who you are, okay? Don't get stuck in the past. Continue to move forward, continue to flow forward. Your power words, group 3, are creativity, weariness is more so a like hey, like a red flag word to me, so I'm gonna go into that in a second. um Discretion, forgiveness, and daring. So weariness, let's unpack that there. Weariness says no one has your best interest at heart. Others have their own agendas. Step up and take control of the situation. It's the very thing that people are not expecting you to do. So some of you are currently in that narcissistic relationship or that abusive relationship I was talking about. You're tired. You're tired. You're tired of expressing that you're tired of this word being expressed in your life. You're tired of being in the situation. So now weariness in the positive sense is telling you, hey, if you're tired of it, take yourself out of it. It doesn't matter what stipulations or excuses you're giving yourself for why you're staying in that relationship. It's time to look past all of that and leave. Leaving, taking control of a situation and leaving it is for your highest good. Stop feeding into the interests of other people's agendas. Stop Stop thinking every single person that comes along is your friend, or is, a positive family role model, or is a good relationship partner, because that's where you have to have your discernment and exercise your emotional sensitivity. If something doesn't feel right, 9 times than not, it is not right. um Creativity, some of you may have to get creative with leaving this situation, you know but creativity is your power word. Creativity says there are ways of dealing with this situation without giving away your power. Weariness just spoke about taking control of a situation. Creativity speaks of not giving away your power. It says think of creative methods in which you can be heard and maintain your dignity. So basically, not being a pushover. There's a difference between being sensitive and just being a pushover and just letting people take from you. It's a form of being a victim. You're not a martyr. You do not have to play a martyr in this situation. You can be empowered and be uplifted, and by taking control of your situation in a creative way. You know, Creativity is what drives you, it's what helps you. Sometimes for some of you, writing and journaling is another thing. Some of you are writers. Some of you are painters or artists. Some of you are musicians. So some of you have to think with your creative right brain, to transform and change a situation, be it something within yourself, be it something in this external material world. So take creativity as it resonates for you. You have discretion. Friendships are fantastic when there's equality in the relationship. Maybe it's time to undertake a quick audit of your friendships to ensure they are reciprocal. Once again, not giving away, not allowing toxic people to take from you, not allowing people to guilt trip you into doing something that you don't want to do, or living in a certain way that you don't want to live. Like, what does your heart say? What is your heart-centered intuition telling you that you need to do? Okay, have the discretion to be discriminate about who you're going to hang out with. Be like, I love you, but you drink way too much and I can't tolerate alcohol, and some of the stuff that you say to me whenever you're drunk, I can't handle that. So no, I can hang out with you when you're sober, but I'm not hanging out with you while you're drunk. By you saying that, it may hurt that person's feelings, but it's also bringing to light something within them that they need to heal too. So that's just an example. I'm not saying that is some of your situations. It may be. I was just giving an example of being having discretion about who you hang out with, who you don't hang out with. Um, forgiveness. Forgiveness is always a very critical thing when it comes to healing emotionally. Okay, guys, it's something that is necessary to be able to get through and get by in this life. And forgiveness is not always for the next person. Sometimes it is literally just for you to heal and to be able to move on with the rest of your life. Okay, take what you need to take and just go on with your life. Um, the forgiveness card says, trusting yourself is often harder than trusting others. Don't worry if you get this wrong, the consequences will not be as bad as you think. So you may forgive this person, you may choose to forget that they exist, or pretty much, not have any connection to them anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're setting healthy boundaries. You're being discriminatory. You're being discriminate about who you're going to hang out with, who you're going to give your energy and your time to. And there's nothing wrong with that. Also, with forgiveness, I'm also hearing self forgiveness, forgiving yourself for um, allowing yourself to stay in toxic situations, allowing yourself to stay in toxic relationships with people, forgiving yourself for hurting someone, for refusing to be vulnerable, with them, and they clearly done you no wrong. You know, Forgiveness goes a long way, because when you don't forgive a toxic person, you tend to take those toxic traits and you project them onto a person that is not even showing you any, of those negative attributes that previous person that actually hurt you had. So, for instance, if you had a boyfriend that cheated on you with a former friend, don't project that onto somebody else who has not shown you any type of shadiness, any type of disrespect in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and who's shown you nothing but support and respect. Those are times where forgiveness is most needed, so that way you don't project that fear of, or your insecurities onto another person who's not even showing you any of those attributes. The last card is daring. It says, find your voice and use it, nice and loud, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. If you don't use it now, nothing will change. So some of you have to dare to put yourself out there emotionally. Some of you have to dare to walk away from something that doesn't serve you anymore. Some of you have to speak up, basically. Some of you cannot just be like, okay, I don't like this, but I'm not going to say anything. You cannot go through life like that. Some of you cannot heal your heart like that. Some of you have to speak up of the wrong that you feel has been done to you as a form of forgiving yourself, as a form of, you know, basically bringing to other people's attention that they have toxic ways too, and they can't just pin everything on you that happened or went wrong in a relationship, or, you know, or in your familial ties with people. So, um, just be daring. Speak what you need to speak from your heart. Let your heart intuition guide you as to what needs to be said. Um, so the number for you, angel number that is assigned to you, group 3, is 717. And I'm going to read about stone quartz after that. Uh, so, according to Miss Doreen Virtue, 717 says your inner vision and heart's desires are right on course. Confidently move forward with your plans. So if you guys have been debating about leaving someone or some type of relationship behind, this is basically your number saying, hey, do it. It's basically the angels being like, hey, you know, 717 is going to be coming around a lot more to remind you, like, hey, it could be 717 at as far as time, you know, that you see throughout the day. Or it could be, you know, a license plates number. Just pay attention to things that can contain numbers, because you never know, you may see 717 as a reminder, like, hey, are you doing your heart healing work? Are you paying attention to your heart's desires and your inner vision? Are you manifesting those? Are you working to bring those to fruition? Um, I've already gone over your animals that are going to, that may appear, you know, in movies or in wildlife and whatever, depending on what part of the world you live in, or pictures you may see. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Rose quartz. The affirmation I came up with for rose quartz, people, for you guys, it says, feel how whole and powerful you are. Um, in an emotional sense, rose quartz helps promote unconditional love, forgiveness, um, compassion, and it resolves anger and disappointments. Okay. So if some of you are having difficulties in your relationships with some people, healthy relationships, let me emphasize that. If you're having difficulties in healthy relationships, then it is time for you to basically try and utilize rose quartz. Rose quartz can be utilized in a number of ways. I'm not going to go into that. You can Google it, YouTube it, look it up for yourself. I'm just telling you what the stone is and the essentials of what different aspects it helps with. Okay. We have, as far as the mental with rose quartz, it encourages higher perspective in difficult situations, promotes higher consciousness, wisdom in dealing with partnerships, family relationships, and um, things with yourself. Okay. Um, spiritually, it helps with meditating on past pain and transmuting it to center the heart chakra. So that's rose quartz. That concludes your soul contracts. What important soul contract you guys um, signed when you came here? And I do hope that this has helped all of you. Um, Stay strong in your journey to fulfilling your soul contracts. I want you guys to know that you are protected at all times by the divine. and that if you need to come back and look at this video over and over again, you can. Um, Also, in my intro video, my About Me video, I have information in regards to if you guys want to book a private reading with me, be it via Zoom, me recording it for you in a YouTube video and sending you a private link to it, or email readings. I am offering those. My prices are also listed in the description box of the About Me video, intro video. And I'm sorry for the oddities that happened today in the video, me having to cut it off because I had to use the restroom, and me mixing group 2 and group 3 together a little bit. So sorry about that, guys. I do hope this helps you, and have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever part of, or evening, whatever part of the world you're in. World you're in. And see you again soon. Blessings.